Good morning. My name is Reverend Dr. Philip DeLong, and I welcome you to Lyceum today. I will be your Lyceum teacher. We're going to start out with our principles. We believe in infinite intelligence. We believe that the phenomena of nature, both physical and spiritual, are the expression of infinite intelligence. We affirm that a correct understanding of such expression and living in accordance therewith constitute true religion. We affirm that the existence and personal identity of the individual continue after the change called death. We affirm that communication with the so-called dead is a fact, scientifically proven by the phenomena of spiritualism. We believe that the highest morality is contained in the golden rule. Whatsoever ye would that others should do unto you, do ye also unto them. We affirm the moral responsibility of the individual, and he makes his own happiness or unhappiness as he obeys or disobeys nature's physical and spiritual laws. We affirm that the doorway to reformation is never closed against any human soul, here or hereafter. We affirm that the precepts of prophecy and healing contained in the Bible are divine attributes proven through mediumship. I will be speaking a little bit from the Lyceum manual that NSAC puts out, the National Spiritualist Association of Churches. And typically, I will be speaking about our principle number 2. We believe that the phenomena of nature, both physical and spiritual, are the expression of infinite intelligence. Here's a poem called Helpful Fairies. We used to believe in fairies that lived in the grass and flowers. They have gone. But what was their mission in this valley land of ours? They assisted the poor, gave comfort to the weak and feeble of earth. They rescued from many a danger, rewarded with pure and their worth. Now, fairy spirituality would have been a very strange concept to the rural Scots, the Welsh, and Irishmen and women who believed in fairies in the 18th and 19th century. Their main concern was placating the fairies and, in a very few cases, of using fairies to work good or evil in the world. However, modern perception of fairies began to change with spiritualism in the second half of the 19th century. Spiritualism was all about sitting around a table and contacting the dead, and by the 1890s it was a major social movement, often referred to the New Age of its day. Early spiritualist writers tried to explain fairies, believing that fairies were, in fact, elemental spirits, the power behind the workings of nature. Now remember principle number 2, that we believe that the phenomena of nature, both physical and spiritual, are the expression of infinite intelligence. And in that regard, The fairies, then, are the power behind nature. In doing this, they were emulating various ancient and, above all, Renaissance philosophers who had come to similar conclusions. Fairies were never that important for spiritualists. However, a branch of spiritualism called Theosophy, under the leadership of Madame Blavatsky, was inclined to look upon fairies as a vital part of any understanding of the natural world. In fact, Theosophy books and articles will constantly refer to fairy references. Today, we forget just how influential Theosophy was in forming modern views of fairies. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle published a full report of his investigation into the cottonleaf fairies, and in 1922 published The Coming of the Fairies. In this book, he compiles evidence for the existence of fairies, and in case you were wondering, having inquiring minds, the sisters who created these alleged photos of the fairies when they were 9 and 16 did finally admit to faking them in the 1980s. This is a similar story to Margaretta or Maggie Fox's confession to the New York World in 1988 that her and her sister's communication with the dead had been a hoax, as well as her public demonstration of how she cracked joints to make rapping noises. Hear that? Rapping. Okay, you got it. On the birth date of modern spiritualism on March 31st, 1848, Maggie Fox was 14 and Kate was 11 years old. Fairies and elementals have been with us since the beginning of time. Much like humans, they too have a long line of ancestors. As elemental beings, they are highly connected to nature and insisting in the caring and tending of it. The word fairy is used more as an umbrella term for similar spiritual beings living in the fairy realm. Just as we humans have many different races, they do as well. They are not living in the past or future. They are fully living in the present and teach us to live that way. Fairies can all look and be very different, just as different as each human being. They have personalities just like we do, emotions, and even bodies that are all different shapes and sizes. Their bodies can stay a more spiritual form or become very dense. Not exactly physical, but almost. This is why throughout time humans have reported seeing them. Some fairies are very small, and some quite large. The idea of wings comes from the fact that they are in a spiritually based state. Most fairies are wingless, although some prefer to show their wings off just like their human counterparts when they visit us as angels. Fairies are all very aware of humans. Some of them like you, some of them don't. Remembering that their purpose is to heal and protect the earth and its inhabitants, humans haven't exactly assisted in that space. Right? How many people have littered? Okay? Do you pollute? So we have to look at all these facts. Many of the elementals, including fairies, have seemed to disappear in helping humanity when it comes to the abuses mankind has done to Earth. The sliffs represent the element air and the mental plane. Have you gone outside to ever get some air? The air might have cleared your mind, and there might have been a sliff around to help you do just that. Your intention was to get some air, clean your mind, or clear your mind. They heard you and they assisted you in doing so. But what if the air is polluted? Are they there to help you? The gnomes belong to the element of earth. Working more within the physical plane to clear out negative energies that have been left by humans in the environment on the planet, their work is also done in another realm. It very much affects us on the earthly plane. The adverse negative energies are a blockage, creating a haze of confusion between us and our spiritual selves. But what happens when the earth is strip-mined or deforested and the gnomes have gone underground when we need them? We have personal responsibilities, not only to ourselves, but to Mother Earth and the world. Undines belong to the element of water. Knowing that water may come in many forms, this means they have many actions within the elemental realm. They are working to remove pollution that enters our earthly bodies of water, such as the oceans, rivers, and lakes. Because humans are 60% water, undines also clear out emotions and anything our subconscious may still be hanging onto in this plane. When we are not able to fully let the past go, an undine will help to create a flow, such as crying, with the release, consciously allowing us to let go and move forward on our path. What happens when our water source is impure? Salamanders belong to the element fire. Fire is the energy of purification and change. It relates to the light that is inside all of us. When our light goes out, our spirit suffers. Ultimately, with keeping our inner flame on, we are able to spread light to others and the world. What if our inner world is dark? Let the soul control the outer form and life in all events, and bring to light the love that underlies the happenings of the time. Trust our soul. The elementals and fairies do become very aware of when we are practicing a more conscious attitude towards the planet. Who recycles? All right? That's a conscious attitude towards Earth. Fairies will even reward us with a more conscious visit for continuing to care and help them in their endeavor of healing the earth. This was their earth first. They are ancient and intend to be here for a very long time. In summary, the fairies are your fair guides. They assist you in meditation and other spiritual work, such as automatic writing. They work with the attributes of the soul, which include truth, cheerfulness, help, health, honor, knowledge, wisdom, peace, freedom, usefulness, kindness, unselfishness, love, trust, courage, faith, hope, tolerance, charity, brotherhood, thoughtfulness, temperance, and aspiration. With all fairies, if you are calling upon them for help and guidance, it is best to be honest and to fully open your heart. When you allow your conscious and subconscious mind to connect with them, you become more sensitive to what they are doing and how important their almost invisible energies are. It is time that you can actively seek guidance and awareness from and through them. Fairies have important missions, traversing the earth and the spiritual realms, but they also extend to the human realm, which is all of you, to help us with the whole of creation and healing. Regarding principle number 7, they help us with our moral responsibilities, not just to the individual, but collectively as well, and help us make our own happiness as we obey nature's physical and spiritual laws. And I would all encourage you to visit Casadega's Fairy Trail, where you can see these elemental beings. Okay, now comes our question and answer period. And this comes from the Lyceum manual. At one time, this was to believe by the ancient Celts and part of their religious understanding, and what we as spiritualists call spirit friends, and the teachers, the Celts called fairies. Can we find other kinds of fairies now? Okay, the answer to that question is yes. We can think of them as attributes of the soul that we can create within ourselves, which will make us more like our spirit friends and invisible helpers. and prepare us to do for others the same kind of work that they do for us. And can anybody name the attributes of the soul? Okay. That was the list that I went through. Truth, cheerfulness, health, honor, knowledge, wisdom, peace, etc. There are many others. Okay, hold on. Here's a question for you. Maybe somebody can answer. Where do these fairies live? Yes, ma'am.
Everywhere.
Okay. Question?
In the elements, like in the atoms or whatever?
Yeah, that is correct, both of you. So the answer, according to the Lyceum manual, is the fairies live in our souls, our hearts, our hands, and some live everywhere. Another question is, do these fairies have any help? And the answer is yes, from the spirits of light and love, who are glad to aid us when we attempt to create these qualities of ourselves. All right. Now let us see what these fairies actually do. What about the fairy named Truth? Any replies? What they do? This fairy lives in our soul. When we want to lie, it brings a book of gold. For us to write, we tell the truth. And actually, this part of the Lyceum manual is for senior students. And by seniors, I don't mean people like me. All right? Okay. All right, so advanced students. Okay, what can we tell of the fairy cheerfulness? When we invite cheerfulness and joy into our hearts, she brings white roses so we can bring brightness to the sick and speak words of hope to the sad. Even children can do this. What can you do if the fairy of help comes to you from your conscience? A fairy of help comes with a golden staff. We can do errands, help elders, smile, give a helping hand to friends, and soothe a crying child. And our golden staff will be a help to all. So it is important to give a helping hand to friends, especially after the hurricane here. I've helped many of people, and I'm sure most of you have as well. But that is help, and that's an attribute of our soul. All these things are great aids. Let us hear about health. Can anybody respond to what health can tell us? Health is the fairy whose home is in the air, the trees, and whose places are in the sunrise and sunset. Her message is that she comes with a silver shield and the breath of fine trees and flowers. Her shield has a message. Part of it reads, keeps clean in body and mind, keeps correct posture, correct breath, eat to live, not live to eat. Love everyone and be kind to all. Then I can live in you too. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about eat to live. Okay, has anybody gone to the grocery store lately? Does anybody read labels? All right. I got a bag of potato chips the other day, which I shouldn't have. And it was, I think, salt and vinegar flavored. And I'm looking on this. This product contains a bioengineered ingredient. All right? Who wants to put that in your body? All right? We have to look at the nature realm, what the nature realm produces. All those essential vitamins and minerals. But if I didn't get the salt and vinegar product in just a regular bag of potato chips, then it did not have a bioengineered product in it. So we all have to look at what we eat to live healthy. That's what our fairies are here for. Okay, what of the fairy honor? Anybody have anything on that part? Any response? The fairy honor comes from the palace of inner life that we call the soul and brings us spotless white gloves. And her message is to always keep your word. Speak kindly and truthfully, and live and be fair-minded. Now we have two magnificent twin fairies, knowledge and wisdom. Where do they live? Anybody? They live everywhere. Okay? Oh, they may be fairies when they are held in our souls and obeyed. We are blessed with progress. And their message is that we do not die. We change our bodies in spirit form. We can earn a heaven by doing right. We make sorrow by doing wrong. Love can never die. Life is forever. And other things that knowledge and wisdom can do is that everything they touch grows better. They keep the good of all. They teach us how to think, speak, love, and live rightly. They teach us how to live spiritual lives, and much more than we can tell. They teach us how to think. Okay, we got a broken educational system. They teach us what to think. But trust these fairies to teach you how to think. And knowledge and wisdom's sign is a flaming torch that lights their way. to pathways, grander every day. Okay, so who is the fairy that comes with a pure white banner, dressed in white robes? Anybody want to answer that? Purity? Okay, the answer is peace. Close. She brings healing, love, and many beautiful flowers. She tells us how to live. She helps all who help her. We will try to hear her. All the other fairies are helpers of her. We have to remember the highest, or the vibration of the universe is love and peace. And that's what we have to keep in our souls. Because all those fairies are there. There are fairies that can bless, the ones called truth and cheerfulness. Both health and honor we invite to come with knowledge and wisdom and their light. And then as days and years increase, with help we'll see the fairy peace. So that's another part of the Lyceum Manual poem there. So, any questions? Opening up to this group. Okay, again, I'll invite you to visit the Cassadaga Fairy Trail and experience this elemental realm.
Trying to think exactly my question out. First one is, where's the fairy trail again?
Just up this road here, and when you get to Chauncey Street, it'll be right in front of you.
Oh, okay. Okay. And is there like a book that we can access, like I'm not sure if it's that Lyceum manual or whatnot that has like a lot of these details about fairies?
It doesn't really have the details on it, but the Lyceum manual looks like this, and it should be available in the bookstore.
Okay.
And the helpful fairies section is page 187 to 189. But there's a lot of other information in the Lyceum manual, which is good for spiritual growth. Yes, John?
Do you think there's a difference between fairies and guardian angels?
They're both guides, so that's what I would say. They come with certain attributes to help your soul. Guardian angels mostly are considered protectors, that they come in with you when you are born and stay with you through life. So that's guardian angels is what they do. The fairies have been with you since eternity with your soul, as has had other angels.
But they're two different entities, right?
Yeah, they are.
And I've been saved by my guardian angel at least 3 times that I remember. He saved my life.
Oh.
At least 3 times. Maybe more that I don't remember.
Oh,
Or I wasn't aware of. But I don't know about these fairies. I don't know if I came in contact with them, maybe. But I know my guardian angel, yes, he pushed my head one time and saved my life. And I turned around and there was nobody behind me. But I was really weird.
Well, sometimes if you've experienced the orb tour, then when they take pictures of those orbs, you can also see fairies in them. They're quite common.
Yeah. How wonder why the camera picks it up and your eyes can't pick it up? It's crazy.
It's part of the veil. So it's just meditate and experience those realms, and then you'll be able to see them.
All these questions, right?
Yeah?
I think when you die, you know everything. What do you think?
Knowledge and wisdom.
I think when you die, you know everything. You never.
Oh, yeah. Well, when we come, as a teacher in the camp here, I always say, I'm not here to teach you anything. I'm here to teach you to remember. Okay? So, and that's it. You know, it's we go through life remembering what that knowledge and wisdom is. Yes, sir.
When I first learned about fairies, I kind of learned about them with somebody's with their view of the elementals or a circle. You know, of how the elementals are seen, which is like the fairies, dragons, trolls, wizards, such. They've had it as 7 classes, but they were kind of describing them as like beings that kind of came down, like the first species to inhabit the earth and beings to work with the earth. I didn't know that they were part of your soul that stay with you from eternity.
Okay, that other branch of spiritualism called theosophy goes into a lot of detail about the elemental realm, and they were the builders of earth. So they did come before mankind. Yes, Susan.
I just want to really comment to John. You know, John, I met my first fairies last year in my trees, and I was 70 before I met them. So, you know, maybe they're more aware than that. Like, they're protectors. Like, during the storm, my friend's tree came down. My guys were good.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions?
I apologize. One more time, what was it called? Something theosophy?
Theosophy.
Oh, just theosophy. Okay.
Yep.
Is that a book or just a general subject?
There is a Theosophical Society. So, and Madame Blavatsky's books are in the bookstore. Okay, with that, I thank you for coming to Lyceum today, and have a blessed day and experience the fairy realm. Thank you.